You are being shady. Watch out, shit could get ugly. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your August soul session. I'm Princess India. If you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. If you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality as well as personal development readings in which we look at the energies that you may face for a given month for the sole purpose of giving you clarity, insight, and guidance and all that good stuff and whatnot or whatever. So anywho, jumping into your cards, your first card, and I apologize now for my frog voice. I have no idea where it's coming from. But anywho, the first card out that you guys have is the Six of Pentacles. Then we have the Magician, that's Aries energy. And then we have the Ten of Cups. Interesting. So how it is looking, my wonderful Capricorns, coming out of July and into August, you guys are in a position of power. You could have gotten your finances in order. You could, I don't know why I feel like that's nonprofit vibes for some reason, but I don't know if you got hired at a nonprofit. If you did, congratulations. But anywho, you guys could have gotten a raise, or you could have very literally gotten your finances in order in the sense of like, you know, kind of seeing money that was bleeding out with like memberships or things of the sort. You guys could have come into some extra money, but whatever the case, it's put you in a good position. I want to say powerful just because the Magician is what is falling behind this. So I more or less see it very clearly as have gotten your shit together. You know what I'm saying? So more or less, if I were to ping back to July a little bit, it's more or less you guys put your, wait, can I say that quote? You put your mind on your money and money was on your mind. Don't judge me. But you guys got your shit together. That's the best way that I could honestly say it. So coming into the month, you guys are in a position of power. And I feel that being in this empowered state is kind of bleeding out into your own personal fulfillment. And if you have a partner or a family like kids and stuff like that, I would say that they're starting to see a shift and change in you as well. So overall, it's more or less getting your affairs in order and you guys feeling confident about it. Next card out we have is the Death card, and that's Scorpio energy. What I would say in reference to this Capricorn, I look at this as like a universal booty pat. It's more or less a declaration that the lifestyle you guys had before, what you were partaking in prior to this month, is something that's dead and gone. So if there was any worries that you guys had with this positive like vibe you guys are feeling now, kind of like, you know how you feel that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of deal. If you guys are fearing that in any way, shape, form, or fashion, there's no need to fear that. I feel like the position you guys are in is more or less like confirmation. Whatever it is that ended in your life, what closed out, what transitioned, I feel that ending was more or less the start. Well, of course, every ending leads to a new beginning, but this is like a real, like clean slate for you all in some way, shape, form, or fashion. The next card we have is the Five of Cups, and then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm gonna say this here. So here's the deal. I have to say this two different ways. So on one side of this, didn't this happen with y'all last month? Or was that Scorpio? I don't remember. Anyway, but whatever the case, the situation that you guys are leaving out of in July, like the latter part of July, if you will, right? You guys are in a good position. However, there's some of you where this ending or this transformation occurred last month, right? And this goes two ways. So there's some of you that this occurred last month. You're on top of the world, super, super positive. You may be looking at it like, you know, this wasn't my rejection. This was my protection, right? So you're like gassed up coming into August. Now, the potential of something that could happen, and I did say this with someone last month, because this energy signature is so freaking familiar, but it's more or less something ended last month. You're in a great place, but it's not really processing the emotions of whatever this is that ended last month, right? So it's kind of like in the midpoint of the month, these emotions kind of come up again. And what I could see you guys doing is kind of drowning yourself in work, like trying to distract. And this is where Capricorns fall into the energy that I've been seeing for just about every single sign that I've done prior to you guys. In the month of August, all of us are being like blocked. So it's like all of us are at an impasse, right? And it's forcing everyone to be like in the present moment. So in every sense, you want to kind of skirt over this, because I feel whatever it is that ended or changed in July, this is a really great place to be in, but especially if this is like we have to be realistic as humans here. If ever you break up with someone, right? Or you lose your job, right? We can kind of put on the bravado to other people and say like, I ain't worried about them. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm single and ready to mingle, you know, or, you know, I'm not worried about that job. I ain't even like that job anyway. Like, I'm Gucci, right? And that's cool. But I mean, whenever we lose something in life, there's always a grief process we're going to go through, even if it's like a minute one, you know? And the only thing that I would say that I'm concerned about, Capricorn, is making sure that if whether this happened last month, and I'll get into the people where this could happen this month in a second, but if this happened last month for you guys and you moved on too quickly from something, as a mental health professional, whenever a person bounces back and moves on from anything too quickly, it's always a little sus for me, because the question is, because it's either one or two things. Either one, you haven't really processed this loss, right? Or two, you were never invested in the first place, because those are the only two ways you can just bounce back. Even a person who has stable mental health, that practices their self-care and all these other kind of good things, right? A person who's mentally strong, you know, mentally agile, you know, very flexible and adaptable. Even in a best case scenario, whenever there's a loss or a breakup or separation or anything of that sort, there's always going to be feelings that are felt. And even if they fast track through a grief process, right? It's like they're still going through one. So I would say you'd have to decide what side of that coin you fall on, where, you know, where you never really invested in the first place. So how can you lose something that really didn't mean anything to you? Or if you're just flat out in denial and suppressing your emotions, right? Because I can understand, and this is something I know people do. I was going to say young people, but it's not necessarily just young people, but it's just kind of like, you know, if you break up with someone, you get on that whole like new year, new me type of vibe, and you're all like on the gram and selfies galore. And it's like, you know, all of that. And it's like, that's cool if one needs to do that to kind of pull themselves out of a slump. However, you still need to address this loss, right? You need to acknowledge it and grieve it so that you can move forward in a healthy way, because I can easily see Capricorns getting lost in their work very easily, right? Like becoming the bravado. And then this is going to be something you'd have to revisit in the future. So don't do that to yourself. Now, on the other side of this, I can see for some Capricorns where if nothing transpired in July, and July was totally fine, you know, copacetic, everything's normal, you're in a good place, you know what I'm saying? Just moseying along, and there being some sort of loss or ending to something, right? But whatever this is, it's very similar to the first group of Capricorns where it's like nail in the coffin, done deal type of situation. And again, I'd say the same thing I say for that first group of Capricorns, where it's important for you to give yourself time to grieve this loss, right? And to do your personal work, especially, and I have to say this, especially if this is a literal passing away. I want to clarify this just in case, just because that's kind of a big deal here. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting. That card came out for the theme for the week and the weekly reading on the network. So it's a surprise card in the reverse. So here's the dealio. In the event, if this was someone actually passing away, it would not be like a shock, right? So this would be like someone who you're aware of that's already sick and has been sick for some time, and kind of one of those things, like if it's a family member who has like cancer and, you know, they've been deteriorating for some time, and, you know, like they've been given so long before they're going to transition. So it's not something where someone would suddenly that you didn't expect pass away, if that's the case. Not saying that for all Capricorns. For the Capricorns, this message would be those of you, like I said, it's someone who you know is already sick and ailing. And the thing that's important with this is that you guys not get consumed by your grief. Give yourself time to grieve. But the other message with this Eight of Pentacles, is whoever this person is to you, is something you guys have in common. The word that's coming to me is apprentice. It doesn't have to, like, you don't have to literally be the person's apprentice, but it's that kind of dynamic between the two of you. So my assumption is that this would be someone who's older than you. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's related to you, but whether it's like, I mean, this could be a lot of stuff. If you're like a teacher's assistant and this is your professor, if you have a mentor, if you're someone's like understudy or something along those lines, and you know this person is like sick, I feel what's being highlighted here is that it's absolutely important for you to go through your grieving process, because you have every right to, but how you pay homage to this person, if you will, is by continuing this work that you and this person have in common, right? So I don't know if it's that you guys are in the same industry or if it's like a family business or whatever the case, but how it is, and I don't know why I'm getting Aries vibes with his Eight of Pentacles. That's not even an earth sign, but for some reason, this is like screaming Aries to me. But the way that you pay homage to this person is by you continuing, the work that you guys had in common or that you did together. Now, for those of you where this isn't an actual passing away, what would be ending midpoint of the month, so somewhere around like the 15th, it's something you would already be aware of, you know? And I feel with you guys, it's more or less you're in a good place, like I said, coming into the month, and you're in your power, and you want to make sure that this ending, you don't allow it to rob you of your happiness and your power and the stability that you guys are in possession of coming into the month of August, you know? So it's kind of like a hiccup, but you don't want to allow it to throw you off base. But I have to stress with this as well, whatever this ending is, it's nothing that you'd be shocked by. Like, you see this coming type of deal. So it's more or less, if you've been preparing for this and you know that this is coming, it's like stay in that mindset and keep working, because this is like a temporary hiccup before the energy keeps moving forward, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for you guys from the Rebel deck so I can hit my curse quota for today, my friends. Any additional messages to help out my Cappies? But overall, this is a good reading. I just look at it as more or less like a heads up that, you know, there is going to be some sort of ending, or for some of you, there already has been. But the whole thing is to keep your eyes on the prize, like to stay in the energy that you entered this month with. But this isn't anything out of sorts. Like, it's not anything that you don't know, you know? Two cards came out. They're both blue. That's interesting. The first one says, you need a good fucking cry. Amen to that. Get the ugly cry on. Let that shit go. Your soul will thank you. Look at that. Next, it says you equals tight ass. Okay. Loosen the fuck up. Control freaks don't get laid. Okay, Rebel Deck. Out here in these streets with these unicorn vibes. Legit, man. And I think that's what's important. What I feel could end up happening, like how I was saying, that whole denial side of this, that is a manifestation of attempting to control a situation. It's like by denying what's happening or what you're feeling and trying to, redirect yourself to overwork on something, it's trying to control the situation and not facing what it is that's actually happening. And I feel that's the main thing that Capricorns need to do this month is being in the present moment, accepting what's happening, going through it, because the best way out of any situation is through it, but not allowing that situation to follow you. Ain't that some stuff? Look, this card fell out. I was just clearing his deck. Not allowing the situation to consume you. The card says, I'm just gonna say it, it fell out. You are being shady, and it says, watch out, shit could get ugly. And I'm just throwing that out there because of this vibe that I feel of something that ended in someone kind of lying to themselves, like, oh, I'm Gucci, like I'm fine, I'm not hurt. You know what I'm saying? So anywho, Capricorn, that's been your reading. I'm going over to my network to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there. But if not, I still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.